finish off with our business. As I said, this week's Bulletin editor will be Don McKinnon. There are no birthdays this week, and there are no ahead, I think, directly, and I'm going to introduce Deirdre Potash. I believe if I'm saying that right, Deirdre.
Potash.
Oh, it is Potash. Okay.
Like the fertilizer.
Okay. Deirdre is an artist and an owner of the Art Will Studio, which is based in Vaudreuil-Dorion. She has dedicated herself to creating unique artistic experiences for people of all ages. Over 30 years of experience as an art educator, and she's created a diverse practice, including a specialty in cultural mediation. She's introduced and established art programs, setting up and running art shows within school and community groups. She's engaged in different types of projects with different clientele, from children to seniors in a variety of settings. This has included sectors in education, community groups, business environments, health and mental institutions, and at school and university locations. So this woman gets around. Her website says that her objective as an art educator is to create unique artistic experiences for all ages, to awaken passion in her participants, to show them new ideas to see, to exchange ideas and to communicate, and to open up avenues for self-discovery and collaboration. So I take great pleasure in introducing Deirdre Potash, and I'll give you the floor now, Deirdre. Go ahead.
Thank you very much. Thank you all. Very happy to be here. Before I continue, Jim, I need to know exactly what time you want me to stop speaking.
Anytime before 3 o'clock. Otherwise, you've got at least 20, 25 minutes, maybe even a little bit more if you like.
Okay, so 12:45?
Yeah, would be fine.
Okay. The other thing is, could you please tell me where that prayer is? That when you said the prayer, where is that from? At the very beginning?
I can send it to you.
Please do. It would be wonderful to share that with some of my participants.
Yeah, I quite like it because it's non-denominational, and it's short, and it says everything that needs to be said. That's
exactly right. First of all, I would like to say thank you to Ibby for passing on my name to Jim and the others and telling them about me. I am a member of the Women's Arts Association, and I probably know her from a couple other places. So what I'd like to do is I'd like to tell you from where I started and then what happened. You are more than welcome to write comments in the chat. I might ask you to write something in the chat every once in a while. You're also welcome to unmute yourself if you have a comment or a question, as long as it just happens once in a while. And I'd also like to leave a little bit of time at the end if you'd like to ask me anything else. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to first show you my studio. So you'll notice that I'm on two screens. If you go to your name where your picture is, you can pin the video. So if you want me to be the biggest thing on your screen, you could do that and switch back and forth. And then you can always switch back to gallery or speaker view as you wish. Okay, so this is my phone here. This is my laptop. This is how I set up now. And I just want to give you a little tour of my studio. So if you pin this video, you'll be able to see me, you'll see these pictures better. So one of the things that I did, one of the reasons actually that I bought this house was because of this studio. So let me show you around. So I have some of my artworks on the wall. These are all things to inspire participants, whether they be here or they be far away. I have some of my collections and artworks that I've done. I work in all mediums, from paint, sculpture, drawing, printmaking, collage. I'm often inspired by things that I collect, like masks and fossils and rocks and shells. Right here on this table is part of what I've been doing this summer, which was libraries, which I do every year. I also get commissions, which I'll talk about later. And I've been doing a special programming online with Doodles. So this is kind of my space. And one of the things I started to do is one of the ways that people learn about me is through my space. Here I am back again. You can now spotlight me. And I'd like to tell you that I did this intentionally, is that I wanted people to look at me and learn a little bit about me, because this is now my business card. This is like a self-portrait. So I have some of my artworks around me and some furniture, and it's not just a blank slate. This is how you get to know a little bit about me. So that's number one. I am now going to share the screen, and I'm going to start with the PowerPoint. So I was an educator at the Montreal Museum of Fine Arts for 30 odd years, a wonderful career where I had lots and lots of opportunities. And at a certain point, I kind of wanted to do it my way. So I started a company called Art Wheel Studio, and I wanted to bring art back into schools, community centers, hospitals, etc. And I wanted to do it my way. And of course, everybody said, "You're crazy." But I didn't listen to them. And I have to tell you that I live my dreams every single day. It's awesome. So, let's see if we can get this. It's true. I am what is called a teaching artist. That means that I do my own art, but I also teach and offer different kinds of experiences. I work in all mediums. I do not have a preference. The only thing I don't enjoy doing is etchings because of the acid, and I don't like things that take a super long time, and oil paint. I prefer acrylics or watercolor. Now, when I went to your website, I didn't really know that much about the Rotary Club at all. And your motto and beliefs are very much in line with mine. I believe that art feels good, and I believe that I'm offering a service for children and adults. I believe my motto is art feels good. And I often say to adults, after you've had a class with me, you should feel like you've been in a wonderful bubble bath. I also try to work with underserved communities and people from different walks and abilities, whether that be people in mental institutions or learning variances, etc. So it was quite neat to kind of learn about what kind of things that you do. In my day-to-day life, I have this art studio that you see around me, in which I give classes here for children and adults. I prepare and plan art programs. There's not just this room, I have rooms with materials, etc. So I go into cool schools and all of that kind of stuff. I also do corporate team building, and I do specialized projects. I believe that I am the supplier and my audience is the customer. And so I try to tailor, meet the needs of whoever wants to hire me. I do all different kinds of programming. The one on the left with the kind of bird shape, that was a special program that I did with people who were, have been, will be, are experiencing mental health issues. And they wanted to create a program that they could bring into institutions and government to talk about the rights of people with mental health. The big green thing that you see is a big freestanding collage painting that I did with children talking about the rainforest and why we need to protect it. And then the lower right, you'll see that we're in the midst of creating a mural. This is in a hockey arena in St. Polycarp. I spoke to the seniors there to talk to them to figure out what kind of theme we should have on the mural. And because of their comments, I actually changed my theme completely. So it's always good to talk with your customers to see what they want and make sure that you're satisfying their needs. This is a hockey arena. I'm sure you've all been to hockey arenas. They are one frickin' ugly place. They're cold and they're not interesting, but hundreds of people go to them. And in fact, this is usually a place with a lot of social. A lot of people get together, they get to see their family, get to see their friends. So this mural is actually on 2 walls. This is a little bit of before, working in the studio with adults and kids. And then what happened? All my classes, all my workshops, all my programs were canceled. Everything stopped. If I don't have contracts, I don't make money. So I went to sleep for 2 days. I then woke up and I cleaned the house. And then the next day, I baked bread. And then after that, I said, what the hell am I gonna do? Because I have to teach art. It's like in my DNA. I have to be with people. And so the first thing I did is I did a Doodle challenge. So by the end of March, I started offering a class in which Monday and Thursdays at 11 for children and at 11 on Friday for adults, you could come and make a doodle with me. The theme changes every week, and I try to put a layered experience. That means that I have lots of visuals, and I also play music so that we have a sense of community and well-being. I'm going to now ask everybody in the next 15 seconds to put one word to describe how you're feeling in the chat. So I'll continue. Hold on a second. There's some people talking in chat. Excellent. Keep going. How are you feeling? Okay. Super. So I opened that up. I sent out emails. I put it on Facebook. I shared it with friends. And I would say that there must be close to 1,500 participants since I started doing these, started doing these doodles with me. And it's been wonderful. I've gotten the most wonderful comments through email and Facebook saying how their children look forward, how it's been good for their own mental health, how it's just been wonderful. And I also told them that at the end of August, when the last class comes, I'm going to take all of the doodles that they sent me. I have over 250, and I'm going to make them into a big collective artwork. So that's going to be super exciting. And then I'll share it with them. I'm not sure what it's going to look like, but it's going to be awesome. Now, the thing about a doodle is you don't need any experience to make a doodle. And all you really need is a piece of paper and a pencil. If you happen to have markers or crayons or colored pencils or whatever, great, but it's not necessary. I had one young boy who came every week, and all he had was lined paper and a pencil. And so that's what he did his doodles with. And they were wonderful. Okay, let's see. Move over. Okay, so this is what it looks like when I'm doing the doodles with the kids. And I can have anywhere to 15 to 35. I've had doodle classes, actually art classes online with as much as 48 people at once. You'll see that most of them have their mute on. And I encourage them to ask questions, to unmute themselves, to participate. I also offer for children positive reinforcement when they make a kind comment to someone else, whether it be in chat or or speaking out loud. I also use the different tools that Zoom offers, like the thumbs up, the clapping. I also do polls. Everybody loves a good poll. And that way I learn more about my participants at the same time. So it's been really, really wonderful. It's been a great, relaxing sense of community. Then I learned that there was this other population, a population that is at home and is not able most days to get out. This particular population is the Fibromyalgia Society. These are people that experience a lot of pain of which there's no cure. And often they don't have the energy to leave their homes. And so one of the things that we did is I sent them an email, a random email, and I was hired once a week to do an introduction to drawing class. So the only thing they have is paper, pencil, sharpener, eraser. And I created a whole program for them, and I've been rehired again for the fall. And so it really made me aware that there's these people that are not being served because they can't leave their homes, or it's very difficult for them to leave their homes. These are portraits, and we're being inspired by How to Shade, a little bit of Picasso, and the number one thing is to have fun. The other thing is that I was doing a lot of work with, because I teach anywhere, a park, a hospital, a school, you name it. And so I was doing a big program with libraries, and when the pandemic hit, I offered to go online with Zoom, and I actually did all of my library programs on Zoom, except for one, and that was a library that's in Coteau de Lac. Coteau de Lac has had, I think, 15 people who've had COVID. So they asked if I would do it in person outside. So in that case, I did it outside, but I have an autoimmune disease, so I have to be super careful. So there was an assistant who actually interacted with the kids, and I did the program outside in this fabulous gazebo. It was wonderful, and it went super, super well. So this is pre-COVID times, and when I get to go into libraries and such and do all different kinds of programming. The next thing that I was able to do was I do a lot of networking. I sit on the board of directors of ELAN, which is English Language Arts Network. I sit on the board of a seniors action committee that's put on by our local MP. I volunteer whenever I can. I always believe the first half of your life you kind of take from society, and the second half you're kind of giving back. But I still have a mortgage to pay for, and car, and have to eat and that kind of stuff. So I have to do it within a certain amount of balance, right? I'm going to remove this phone now. Hold on a second, please. Okay. So I've been also hired to do commissions. The one on the top with the big one, that one is traveling around the area of Vaudreuil-Soulanges. I'm in Vaudreuil-Dorion. And it's called Cultural Contamination. Each artist was asked to create a work of art based on the pandemic. So mine is a mixture of collage and paint and sequence. And I used old UNICEF calendars. I wanted to talk about how the pandemic affects everybody from all over the world. That it is a very negative thing, but there's some positive, this sense of community, that the earth is not so vast, that everybody wants the same thing. They want to love and be loved, right? We want to take care of each other. On the right is a bird, and they asked a variety of artists to create a fantastical bird, and then they put those up in groups of 10 in 10 different seniors' homes outside. So if someone's going for a walk, you get to see these fabulous birds. Now, I've done lots of different kinds of projects. So everything is going to really change. So just before I go to there, let me just go back for a second. So I did the Doodle challenge online. I did the fibromyalgia. Concordia University contacted me, and I did a couple of classes for staff and families and alumni. I did the library program. I did the cultural contamination. I did the fantasy birds. And then under the ELAN auspice, which is English Language Arts Network, is AIG, which is Artist Inspired Grants. The Artist Inspired Grant, it gives money to minority language in Quebec. In this case, it would be English, to schools across Quebec. That's over 200 schools that are entitled to $1,500 a year of artist for 3 or 4 years. And it's a collaboration between the artist and the school based on the needs and the wants of the school. So that was one of the things got canceled last year. And it's going to be starting up again this year, but obviously everything is going to be through Zoom. So one of the great things is that I embrace Zoom, so I'm a little bit ahead of the game in that I know a lot of how to do stuff. The next thing that's going to happen, like the library and all of those things will continue, is that we recently got funding through the Red Cross for seniors in isolation. Right now in the Vaudreuil-Soulanges area, we've received special, simple computers to use. We'll train seniors on how to use them. You can be either in your home or in a senior's residence, any kind. And it's divided up between me teaching drawing classes and Rob Lutz, who is a blues musician, who's just awesome, and he'll be doing music. So there's all things coming in the works, embracing the Zoom platform. Now, I'm going to stop for a minute and see if anybody has any questions or comments before I continue.
How many different groups are you dealing with right now, Deirdre?
A lot. Because right this second, I'm also doing the planning. So every day I'm getting libraries asking me to send in proposals. So there's a half a dozen libraries there. I do about 2040, about 60 participants a week for the for the Zoom classes. By the way, if you'd like to join in a Zoom class, all you have to do is send me an email. I put it up there where my name is, deirdre@artwill.ca. Tell me where you saw me from. I'll send you the link. It's if you want to join the adult one, it's on Fridays at 11. No experience necessary, piece of paper and a pencil. You're more than welcome to join in. I'm also I started working on the project for the Red Cross. There's a lot of planning. A teacher does a lot of planning before she actually presents themselves in front of a group, right? And then there's also all the Artists Inspire that I'm doing. And that's it right this second. But things are coming nonstop. And then another person asked me who was my greatest influence in my life. I don't think there's one person, but I think the greatest influence on my life was myself. When people told me I couldn't do something, I didn't listen to them. And I guess after that would probably be my dad. Okay, so I'm gonna stop that now, and I'm gonna go back to the, oopsie, hold on a second. There we go, share screen, voila, okay. Okay, so I thought I'd like to tell you, so that's kind of where I was, what I'm doing now because of the pandemic. And I think that we're all living through similar stories, seeing a very limited amount of people, doing very limited shopping still, going for walks in the neighborhood, that kind of thing. I want to show you a little bit of some of a project that I did, just so you can get a better idea of what kind of things I have been doing. Just a second. Okay, so I do lots of different projects. So this project that I'm going to show you is I can do anything as a visual artist and educator, okay? So I can take any project and I can adapt it to Zoom. Now this happens to be a project that I did in person. I do many projects. I probably do like, I don't know, at least 20 a year, I guess, of different magnitudes. And so this is a project that talks about identity with children. It happened with grade 4s, 5s, and 6s, if I remember correctly. And we talked about what we consider our country of origin. Some people, even if they've only been here a minute, consider themselves immediately Canadian. Some people, that could be 4th generation, they still consider themselves Italian. So, or Greek, or Jews. Like some people are very attached to where they came from. Other people embrace, not that, and there's nothing wrong with that. There's neither good or bad. It just is. So I talked a little bit about identity with children. And then on one side, they drew a flag of the country that they identify with. Sometimes they did a combination flag, like Canada and Italy, for example, or Canada and Egypt, that kind of thing. And then on the other side, I asked them to do a drawing of an animal that represented them. So when I teach or program, as what I do online, is I try to give as many levels as possible. And let's see if we can let's see if this works. You tell me if this works or not, okay? Because I'm not sure if it will. So let's try. No. Okay, hold on a second. Just give me a second, please. Try that again. Apologize.
Can see it, but can't hear it. Yeah, there's still no audio.
There's no audio?
No.
Okay, so we'll let that go. I'll have to figure out a new learning thing I'll have to do. So basically we had, oh my gosh, around 250 different flags that were set up. So what else can we add to the experience? We have a big presentation at the end, a big party. So we send out an invitation, and we decided that because we were doing these flags and we were talking about multiculturalism and all of this kind of thing, we invited all the parents to make foods from their country of origin. So we got to eat from food from all over the world. And we also hired, or people volunteered to do different kinds of presentations. So the little girl in the green is doing Irish dancing. The woman on the right is doing some belly dancing. We had henna tattoos. And then we had a big presentation of singing and song. Let me just see what's happening here. Just a second. Okay. Okay, so you all hear me, is that correct? Okay, so my next learning curve will be to figure out how to put sound so that I can show video directly on the computer. So that's basically me in a nutshell.
So if there is any questions, I'll take them now.
Okay, Heather, would you care to unmute everybody, please?
I unmuted everybody, but there's some that have remained, I think, have muted themselves back so that they're not heard.
Okay, making too much noise. Okay, no problem. So the floor is open.
Okay. If you're not, go ahead.
I'll start off, Deirdre. Just, have you ever done, or do you think it would be in your realm to do these kind of projects with some of the homeless shelters?
I actually have worked in homeless shelters. When I was at the Montreal Museum of Fine Arts, I went into day centers, like homeless day centers. I've also worked with recovering drug addicts. You name it. I have worked with every single group that there is. As far as Artful Studio, I've worked in at-risk schools. I've worked with special needs in hospitals, but homeless I haven't done. You get me some funding, and I'd love to work out a program for them.
Thank you.
You're welcome. I have to say that the theme of this talk was an artist in a pandemic, and the onus is really on us on how we're going to tackle a situation, right? I tell you that there's a lot of artists that just kind of curled up in a ball and became stuck and into depression almost, and they didn't know what to do next. So you can do that for a little while. That's kind of normal and natural. But at a certain point, you have to take, you have to put the onus is on you to make things better. And I believe that I've taken a situation that could have been very negative and turned it into a wonderfully positive situation in which I've actually had people in my classes, the Doodle classes, from Iran, United States, across Canada, Peru. It's been just amazing, awesome. And I've also joined an art hive, all through Facebook. I've done wonderful classes. It's a great opportunity. I've learned about so many different things. I once joined a music group out of India. I was the only white person. And it was all Indian music and poetry and dance, but they had a mixture of their dialects and also English. It was just wonderful, incredible. So I'll stop at this point, and I'll say thank you very much for listening. Please send me an email if you'd like more information on the 3 Google classes, either for children or adults.
What I will do is I'll send out your coordinates